Okay, Vince Povey again at Blakehill. We've reached waypoint number 8, which is the bomb dump and the incendiary store end of the airfield. We've come down the perimeter track about 1 kilometre and we've reached, on our right hand side, we've reached a pedestrian gate that has Blakehill Farm, danger, temporary electric fences are in use written on it. As we look down the Perry track, in front of us there is a large patch of white concrete, just about 20-30 metres ahead of us, and to the left of that is a coppice, which is a large hedge which heads off on the left hand side. If we stand at the gate, which is now on our right hand side, and if we turn to our left and look across the main meadow, if we look to the horizon we can see a low hill, and that low hill is actually the site of the original Blakehill farm. So that is where Blakehill actually is. Just in front of that hill is where the airfield control tower would have been. The remains of the control tower are merely just lines in the ground now, not even rubble remains of that. Next to the control tower was the ambulance station and fire engine station. As we turn now back towards the pedestrian gate, we will make our way through it and we'll make our way into the incendiary stores, where I'll tell you some more about the remains there. So we've come through the small pedestrian gate and we've made our way onto the bomb dump trackway. We've also come through to our right, we've come through a metal gate. We continue on the concrete track until we get to a point in the track where the track actually splits in two. And in front of us is a reminder of where the bomb dump, or the working end of the bomb dump, actually stood. As I've said before, the airfield was originally designed as a defensive airfield, so it was built to specification to house bomber or fighter aircraft. The station was built or intended for use by the United States Army Air Force 9th Air Force Unit, but not used, and could have been a base for B-29 bombers if the tide against the Nazis hadn't changed. So because of this, it has an area designated as a bomb dump and an incendiary store, and this is the western end of it. It was never used to store bombs, it was actually used to store equipment such as tow ropes for gliders and general equipment for air dispatch use. This is where the bomb store actually splits in two, and in the lay-by in front of us, this is where one of two fusing ultra-heavy type buildings may have stood. It is actually on the aerial photograph. It's a type 4735/42 building, which is basically an ultra-heavy, long, 40-foot long Nissan hut, 16-foot wide with brick end walls. The buildings are shown on the original plan for the airfield as well as an aerial photograph, but the exact specification of the building is unproven. We know that the roof was purposely weaker than the walls to force any detonation upwards and away in case of an accidental explosion. If this bomb dump would have been used for live ammunition, paperwork detailing the bomb quantity, bomb fuse type and fuse setting would be delivered to the stores in readiness for the arrival of the bombs themselves. The bomb trolleys would be towed into the Nissan hut where the armourers would fit and set the bomb fuses in accordance with instructions. Once fusing was complete, the bombs were then designed to be towed around the airfield perimeter track to the aircraft dispersal. You will note by looking around you that this end of the airfield is densely wooded than anywhere else. There are some quite mature trees around. This is deliberate. Ammunition was always stored in wooded areas to contain any damage should an accident occur. What we're going to do now is we're going to turn 180 degrees, go back up the track where we've just been, make our way back out to the perimeter track, and I'm going to talk about the magnetic north end of the Skywave radar array, which was one of the Cold War experiments for the site.